Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at this 2020 Mercedes-Benz A220. The A-Class went on sale in the United States for the 2019 model year, and it rides on Mercedes-Benz relatively new front-wheel drive architecture. That front-wheel drive platform underpins a total of 4 vehicles in Mercedes lineup. You've got the A-Class here, which is also the entry-level Mercedes. This one starts at about $35,000, making it the least expensive new Mercedes-Benz you can buy in the United States. There's also the CLA, which is, well, pretty similar to the A-Class. It's more of a coupe-like profile, but beyond that, the two vehicles are virtually identical. And then there are 2 SUVs that ride on that front-wheel drive platform. There's the GLA and the GLB. I've actually reviewed a GLB on this channel. As for this vehicle, it has a starting price of just under $35,000, but this one's fully loaded and it comes in at just over $48,000. As for the CLA, it's kind of strange that in an era when most automakers are cutting down on their sedan offerings, Mercedes-Benz has introduced 2 all-new sedans just in the past couple of years. The A-Class is meant to be the more mainstream of the two. The CLA wears a slightly more coupe-like profile, and it actually costs a little more than $4,000 more than the A-Class in most configurations. The two are differentiated a little bit when it comes to powertrain as well. They both use the same turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, but in the A-Class here, that engine is tuned to make 188 horsepower, and in the CLA, that engine puts out 221 horsepower. The two differ further when you get into their AMG variants. Both will offer an AMG 35 model that'll make around 300 horsepower, but only the CLA, as of right now, offers an AMG 45 model here in the US that makes a little bit over 380 horsepower. Still kind of strange that Mercedes would offer both in the US. I have to wonder if ultimately they'll drop one of these vehicles from their lineup in the coming years and go back to only offering one subcompact sedan here in the States. Either way though, let's take a closer look at the A220. Nothing too revolutionary about the design of the A-Class here. Trunk lid's pretty short, rear wheels sit pretty close to the rear. It works for me. Up front, you can see Mercedes-Benz corporate grille. It has these chrome dimples all throughout it, surrounding the Mercedes-Benz logo. Wheels on this look pretty sharp. They're covered in brake dust right now, but they are 19 inches. Pretty classic Mercedes wheel design. Moving around to the back, I think this vehicle does look best from the back. There's your A220 badge. This is an all-wheel drive example, so it's got the 4Matic badge. Not the biggest car, so trunk space is pretty limited. I think there are 8.3 cubic feet. Here's a look at the window sticker. So, as I said, this one starts at just under $35,000, making it the least expensive Mercedes-Benz you can buy. As equipped though, this one's fully loaded and it comes in at $48,295. The EPA rates this thing at 24 mpg city, 34 highway, and 28 combined. If you've been in any modern Mercedes product, you're gonna recognize this interior. It's got this dual screen panel here across the dashboard. So this is your digital gauge cluster, and then this is a touchscreen infotainment system. That infotainment system can also be operated via this touchpad right here. So there's a lot of redundancy between the controls. I like the air vents in these modern Mercedes. You've got 5 circular air vents. They're really nice to use. Feel good. They kind of click into place. If it was night out, I could show you the LEDs better, but you're gonna have to just take my word for it. They run across part of the door panels, across the dashboard, and then they're even in the handles on these air vents here. You can actually change the colors of the LEDs via the infotainment system here. So you go to comfort, ambient lighting, color, and then you can adjust that color right here. You can kind of see it turning pink. You can see it pretty well right there. So lots of fun hues, all the colors of the rainbow. Online it said 64 different colors for these LEDs. So I was riding with it on a warm white tone. Altogether, this is a pretty good interior. It's somewhat minimalist. The layout is nice. I like the red seats here. This one has adjustable thigh supports. Like in every Mercedes product, the seat controls themselves are on the door panel. These handles are unique. They are hoop shaped, so you can just grab them from really any angle. Here's a closer look at the one on the driver's door. And I mentioned before that the CLA and the A-Class are ridiculously similar. The two vehicles actually have the same exact interior. Decent storage on the center console here. So this is a wireless charging pad. You've got two cup holders with some adjustability to them. There you go. Like I said, touchpad for the infotainment system, and then this controls a few different driving modes right here. So you've got sport, comfort, eco, and individual. Center console box. Not the biggest center console box. A couple ports in there. You've got USB-C throughout the vehicle, which is very modern. Steering wheel design is pretty sharp. You've got little touch controls where you can actually control the infotainment system from the steering wheel. Over here, you can control the trip computer and some other information. Shifter on these modern Mercedes is kind of weird. I don't mind it because it frees up space on the center console for other things, but it's just kind of weird to operate. Maybe not as weird in a $50,000 vehicle like this one, but when you get into the $150,000 GLS and you're changing from park to reverse to drive with this thing, it's a little weird. Big sunroof in this one. What's especially weird is that it opens outside of the vehicle. So when you have the sunroof fully open, that glass panel is sitting over the back of the roof, floating for what, about 2 feet right there? While we're out here, let's hop in the back seat. And yeah. I couldn't exactly hop back here because it's so small. Had to force my feet into the footwell there. Yeah, not a real comfortable place to spend a lot of time, at least not for me, a full-size adult. I'm about 5'10". This is where I have the seat when I'm driving, and you can see with the seat in that position, I really don't have any knee room back here. Door panels are still nice enough in the second row. On a lot of vehicles, you'll find that they use nicer materials on the front door panels than they do on the back door panels, but in the A-Class here, pretty much the same. Leather, one-touch power windows. Yeah, not a ton of space back here. Center armrest with cup holders that pop out. Yeah, not the most functional cup holders. The Germans seem to have some aversion to offering normal cup holders. They've all got to be these little flimsy things that always leave that chance that your hot coffee is going to spill out all over the seat. I think that does it. Okay, driving the A-Class. I think what I like most about this vehicle is that it's really easy to just hop in and go. I've been driving it all week. It's been sitting in my driveway or sitting in front of my house, and I gotta go somewhere, grab the keys, run out to it, get in and go. And I think that's maybe something you get with a small car that you don't quite feel with SUVs and larger vehicles. It's just a quick, easy, comfortable vehicle to get around in. It's not exactly fast, 188 horsepower. I could use about 30 more. There's 50. The turbo does have to work, but it's like most modern turbocharged engines. While this car is really easy to drive and comfortable to get around in, it's not really good for much else. And at $48,000, you want a vehicle that has some utility, and unfortunately, a subcompact sedan like this just really doesn't offer any other than point A to point B transportation. And that's why I think it's funny that Mercedes now offers 2 vehicles in this class here in the US. Yeah, I wouldn't call it fast, but it's quick in traffic. So for getting around town, yeah, not bad. I think everything's programmed pretty well. So while it only makes 188 horsepower and 221 pounds-feet of torque, that power is available when you want it. So like shifting between lanes, shooting in and out of traffic. This one has all-wheel drive, so if you live in a cold climate, you don't have to worry about getting snowed in quite like you do with front-wheel drive. This thing isn't gonna plow through a snowbank, but if there's 2 inches of snow on the road, you're more likely to be able to get out of your parking spot. Cabin's pretty nice. I don't have any complaints. A lot of times these new entry-level European luxury cars are criticized. A lot of people feel that they don't offer a BMW or a Mercedes caliber interior. To me, this is fine. Granted, this car costs $48,000, so maybe you could expect a little bit more, but for what it is, a subcompact luxury sedan, yeah, the interior is subcompact luxury sedan caliber. Lots of active safety tech in this thing. I do find it to be a little bit overreactive. In pretty much every Mercedes-Benz product I've driven in the past couple years, at some point over the course of the week, something goes off when it shouldn't. I find in this one and in most modern Mercedes, the lane keep assist is very aggressive. In a lot of cars with lane keep assist, when you start to drift outside of your lane, or when you start to drift over say a white or a yellow line on the road, the steering wheel will gently nudge you back into place. Maybe it'll beep, it'll hold your position on the line momentarily unless you really force it over the line. In Mercedes products, the car will veer you back into the middle of the lane. It'll grip that inside wheel, pull you back into the lane. Stuff will go off. I don't know what exactly it is, but it is jarring when you attempt to cross a lane in this vehicle without your turn signal on. I wish I could show you this thing at night. With the LED lighting in here and then just the overall interior design, it's kind of cool. Maybe a little bit gimmicky. When you get into the more expensive Mercedes-Benz products, the LED lighting may cheapen the car a little bit, but in these entry-level Mercedes, it's pretty cool. You can set the LEDs to any color you want, really, and then combined with the different gloss and chrome surfaces in here, it makes for kind of a fun experience. Another weird thing with this shifter is to go from drive to reverse, you really have to have your foot on the brake. A couple times now, I've been attempting to put the car in reverse and I wasn't pressing the brake pedal hard enough. Granted, the car wasn't moving and the brake was on, but I wasn't pressing it hard enough so it wouldn't actually put the car into reverse. It was really weird, kind of frustrating after a few times. And there's your look at the A220. I think you have to evaluate a vehicle like this in two different ways. On one hand, there's the question of, should a $48,000 subcompact sedan exist in 2020? And then, as far as $48,000 subcompact luxury sedans go, is this one good? First, the high-level theoretical question. Kind of strange. I guess I'm technically the target market for this vehicle. I'm a young male. I have a college degree. And would I buy one of these? No. It can't haul things. It can barely fit more than 2 people comfortably. You can't take it off-road. It really lacks all utility. So unless you're someone who doesn't really do much, this vehicle will limit you. And at $48,000, I think you should need more out of a vehicle than just point A to point B transportation. That said, the A220 is a good subcompact luxury sedan. The design's sharp, looks cool, infotainment system is good, driving experience is good enough. It's a Mercedes-Benz product, and at the end of the day, that's what matters to a lot of people. So altogether, I gotta give this segment a thumbs down. But as far as execution goes, I give the A220 a thumbs up because I think it's well done. Thanks for watching.